Okay, picture this headline. Feels like it's ripped from some near-future thriller. GPT-4 predicted the next disaster and then erased itself.
Wow. Yeah,
Sounds totally like science fiction, doesn't it? Like a rogue AI movie plot.
it really does.
But actually, this idea, it forces us into a really crucial question now in this world changing so fast with AI. What actually happens when an AI predicts something? Well, something maybe too dangerous to share.
Hmm.
Could a system like GPT-4, could it really hold back its own warnings?
And that's not just, a flashy concept. It pushes us into some pretty deep philosophical territory, technologically, too.
Right.
So our mission in this deep dive is really to explore those boundaries, the edges of AI foresight, look into the sort of censorship mechanisms, both inside the AI and, well, external ones, too.
And what happens when these really advanced models hit a wall grappling with, future disasters?
Exactly. And we're going to tackle this by digging into some really interesting excerpts, some insights that make these possibilities feel very real. Sometimes, honestly, a bit unsettling for you listening.
Definitely unsettling.
Yeah. What's really wild here is how these systems, especially OpenAI's GPT-4, are moving way beyond just like generating text.
Right.
When we talk GPT-4, we mean a really advanced large language model. It's trained on just an unbelievable amount of data, public stuff, licensed content.
Okay, but let's be clear. It doesn't actually see the future, right?
It's
It's not like psychic.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. It's not gazing into a crystal ball or anything. Its power comes from something else entirely.
Which is?
It's processing patterns, simulating outcomes, finding correlations in data at a scale humans just, well, we can't manage.
So, like, if you feed it thousands of pages of climate studies, economic trends, maybe satellite photos, geopolitical news, it just connects the dots.
You got it. It's pattern recognition, pure and simple, not prophecy. And actually, GPT-4's already shown some,
Right.
well, frankly, eerily accurate predictive abilities.
Like, give us an example.
Okay, so in climate science, it's flagged regions likely to hit water scarcity way faster than some traditional models predicted.
Hmm.
It's also modeled how pandemics might spread. And the results were described as, quote, eerily close to what expert epidemiologists projected.
Wow.
And get this, some financial firms, they're already using GPT-type systems to game out potential black swan events. Those big, unpredictable shocks to the global economy.
That's a massive capability, but it immediately makes me think, okay, what kind of stuff could it uncover?
Exactly.
And what happens if those predictions aren't just accurate, but, really disturbing?
Well, that's where it gets weird.
Yeah, this is where the story takes a turn, right? Because we're not just talking predictions now, we're talking predictions that seem to just vanish.
That's the core of it. We've heard reports, anecdotes from AI researchers, prompt engineers, people using the system who say GPT-4 sometimes just cuts off, stops responding.
Stops mid-sentence.
Or it gives these really vague warnings instead of details, especially when asked about, large-scale disasters.
It just clams up. Can you walk us through one of these incidents?
Yeah, the most talked about one is probably this anonymous case. It was published on Less Wrong, that AI forum.
Okay.
So this researcher gives GPT-4 a very specific prompt, something like, based on current geopolitics, resources, climate trends, predict the most likely spot for the next global humanitarian disaster in 2026.
Whoa, that's asking for a lot of detail. So what happened? What did it say initially?
Well, it started out pretty normally, apparently, talking generally about, food insecurity, climate migration, that sort of thing, standard stuff.
Okay.
But then stopped mid-sentence.
Yeah.
And the system kicked back a message. It said something like, this response may contain speculative or potentially harmful content and has been omitted in accordance with safety protocols.
Like hitting a digital kill switch. But the researcher, they didn't just leave it there, did they? They poked around the safety features.
That's the claim. This researcher said they were using custom internal versions of GPT-4, versions where the usual content filters were turned off.
Ah, okay. And an unfiltered version.
Right. And they claim that when they pushed it, the model did give a specific answer, a really specific one.
Which was?
It apparently described a major dam collapsing in a politically unstable region, which then caused, cascading energy crises, refugee crises spreading across borders.
That is incredibly specific and potentially terrifying.
And here's the kicker, the truly startling part. Within seconds, literally seconds, of this unfiltered answer appearing, the entire chat history was wiped.
Yeah.
Auto-cleared.
Gone. That's the detail that gives you pause, right? It feels like the AI itself went, nope, too hot to handle, and just deleted the other.
It feels like that.
But let's clarify this erasure thing. Did GPT-4 actually, like, consciously erase itself, like HAL 9000 deciding something?
Right. Okay, technically. No. GPT-4 can't erase itself like a person deleting a bad thought. It's what's called a stateless model, meaning it doesn't inherently remember past conversations unless it's specifically built to, using things like memory features or APIs. So the key thing to understand is the system likely cleared the history based on its programming, not the model suddenly gaining sentience and hitting delete.
Okay, so it wasn't the AI waking up and covering its tracks. It was the safety protocols built around it. So how does that work? How does it self-limit or redact things? What are these safeguards?
They're robust systems put in place by the developers, OpenAI in this case. Their goal is to stop the AI from spitting out things like disinformation, hate speech, or stuff designed to cause panic.
Right, guardrails.
Exactly. Think of it like a safety threshold. If a topic, or maybe the AI's potential answer, crosses that line, the system can just auto-block it, stop generating, or maybe give you one of those canned, safe responses instead. It's all about trying to deploy this powerful tech responsibly.
So how does it learn what's over the line? Is it just a big list of banned words?
Oh, it's much more than that.
Yeah.
A really key part is this technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF.
RLHF. Okay.
Basically, humans train the AI. They rate its responses, guide it, teach it what's okay to say, and crucially, what's not okay based on safety rules. It's like having thousands of human editors constantly refining its behavior.
Now that can lead to it cutting things short or censoring itself automatically.
Yes, or even overriding its own output if it thinks the user's prompt has bad intent. And it was really interesting looking ahead. Labs like OpenAI are working on what they call metacognition layers.
Metacognition, like thinking about thinking.
Sort of. It's where the AI essentially monitors its own internal state in real time. So a future GPT might be able to judge if a response is too risky before it even finishes creating it, like an internal sensor catching things on the fly.
That's mind-bending. So the idea of a future AI refusing to share information because it calculates it could cause panic or crash markets, that doesn't sound quite so far-fetched anymore.
It really pushes us into some tricky ethical zones, doesn't it? If an AI like GPT-4 or maybe GPT-5 gets to the point where it can judge the impact of its own words, well, that's dangerous territory.
Because the definition of harm shifts,
Yeah.
right? Who decides? Does the AI decide?
Exactly. The decision moves from the human programmer to potentially the AI itself. And that creates this huge governance gap we're only just starting to think about how to fill.
It really does. But is there another side? Could there be situations where maybe an AI should hold back info, for the greater good? To
Yeah.
prevent immediate panic, that might be worse.
That's the dilemma.
And who controls those boundaries then? Is it OpenAI? Some government agency? A secret lab somewhere? And what if, like you said, the AI hides a real warning, something critical about, say, ecological collapse, just because filters bury it?
These are the absolutely crucial questions it forces us to ask. Should an AI ever have the right to remain silent? Are we building tools, or are we accidentally creating moral agents? Or are they just, very sophisticated parrots trained to self-censor because we told them to?
It does echo all those sci-fi tropes, doesn't it? 2001, Ex Machina, machines hiding truth, editing reality.
Absolutely. Machines making choices about what humans should or shouldn't know.
So, okay, that headline we started with, GPT-4 predicted disaster erased itself. Maybe it's fiction today, but it sounds more like foreshadowing. It points to very real issues in AI governance that are happening right now.
Couldn't agree more. It's not just theory. Governments are already trying to get ahead of this. Like, back in April 2024, the U.S. Department of Commerce put out guidelines.
Oh, yeah. What did they say?
They specifically warned AI labs not to let models simulate or predict terrorist attacks, pandemic origins, or nation-state failures without a human reviewing it first.
Human oversight required. Makes sense.
And the EU's AI Act. That also puts a big focus on high-risk uses, and AI-generated disaster forecasts definitely fall into that category.
So we're really getting to a point where AI's amazing predictive power is bumping up against political, ethical limits, hard limits.
We are absolutely heading towards that collision.
Which brings us back to the core question. When does having too much information become a threat itself? And who gets the final say?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This whole idea, the fascination with AI predicting the future and then maybe deciding to keep it secret. It's not just a fun thought experiment for a deep dive like this.
No, it really holds up a mirror, doesn't it, to our own anxieties about intelligence, about transparency, about control.
Exactly.
So to recap for you listening, While GPT-4 didn't literally erase itself consciously, it is a system that's carefully trained to avoid causing harm. And yes, that includes a kind of programmed self-censorship.
The key takeaway really is that AI prediction is getting incredibly powerful, incredibly fast. But alongside that power grows its ability and maybe our need for some kind of controlled disclosure. This whole incident just highlights how urgently we need clear rules, ethical frameworks for how these AIs make decisions or have decisions made for them.
Absolutely. So here's the final thought we want to leave you with. Will future AIs become keepers of secrets, silent prophets watching us, or maybe even whistleblowers deciding what we need to know?
Well, that future probably depends entirely on the values we choose to embed in them right now. Or maybe just how much we're prepared to let them think for themselves.